All right. Shall we start this?
Yes. Let's see how we go.
Welcome to the Fully Charged podcast.
Here are a few highlights of what to expect in this episode.
Robert gets his E's and his Q's and his C's all mulled up.
I was tired. It was a very long day. I said, I've just been driving the Mercedes ECQ. Johnny could be about to pre-order a very special vehicle.
And it's a funky little thing. The little Postman Pat van. And Robert begins his weekly shop.
Yes, please order another 5,000 toilet rolls.
Catch us on the social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that kind of thing.
Thank you again to all our supporters on Patreon. And if you want to have a look at supporting us too, it is very much appreciated.
Before we head into the show, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review on wherever you subscribe to this podcast. Thank you very much. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to waffle on and talk about nothing or some stuff about EVs and sustainability.
Now, let's get on with the episode.
Welcome to the podcast. It's the cast of pods. Hadn't planned the ending. Hadn't got that far yet.
Because it was rhyming for a moment then. I was very impressed, but
I think
it all went a bit off at the end.
It was I'm not going to be on Britain's Got Talent anytime soon. But then, frankly, why would I want to be?
Exactly. Why would you want to do such a thing? But look, Johnny, when I did the last recording of the podcast, you were, I think, going round the streets of Monaco at some speed.
Yeah, the crazy badlands, the well-heeled badlands of Monaco. I went to my first Formula E race, and foremost.
Which I bet was really good in Monaco. I bet that's the place to see it.
It was good. The vibe was really positive. And I think the first thing I would say to a Formula E virgin, which I was the accessibility of everything is brilliant. Everyone's welcoming. There doesn't appear to be sort of an aloof air in the around the place, and also people can go and see drivers, meet drivers, look in the pits, and these are things which Formula One hasn't done for 40 years, probably 30 years. So I really like that about it. The racing, it's okay. I mean, I personally prefer full-bodied cars. But that's just me.
Yes.
I prefer a bit of argy-bargy panel damage, personally.
I'm with you on that. You and I basically just love a bit of panel damage. That's what makes me happy when I see a bit of that.
Yeah, I do. I just think, I can't wait for electric touring cars. I like the beginnings of this Jaguar E-Trophy thing.
Yeah. So did they have that there? Because I saw that in Paris, and that was... Yeah. And they are noticeably fast. They look... I don't know that they actually are faster, but because they're bigger lumps, so you can see them more easily. Yeah, they look faster. They just look like they're really.
They carry more weight into the corners and stuff, so you get that feeling that if it goes wrong and when you're on the edge of grip, there could be some catastrophe ahead.
Some serious paddle
let's
damage.
Face it, that's what makes it a good spectator sport, right? I mean.
But then the thing is, I didn't know how it all panned out. Did you go round the actual same circuit in the Aston Martin?
Yeah, just before the race. So after they did the testing, we went out and we got 2 laps in the passenger seat of the Aston Martin Rapide E, which is the first fully electric 4-door, and with Darren Turner at the wheel, multi-time Le Mans winner with Aston Martin. Really lovely bloke from Surrey. Very, very handy behind the wheel. And also what was great was he hadn't driven an electric car until about 3 weeks previous.
You're kidding? Never anything, not even like had a go in someone else's or something.
And we ended up chatting off camera a little bit about him commuting to when he does his little day-to-day runs and school runs and stuff, how much he's really looking forward to having an EV, and he's looking at EVs as we speak. So
wow.
And he's he is what you would call, I guess, a petrol head, because he's a fully fledged winning racer. So
a full-blown, I think you could call him a full-blown petrol head.
He could be full-blown. I mean, he's used to living his life with a V12 Aston Martin.
Exactly.
So he knows what he's doing.
That's impressive. But and so you were, that's amazing. So were there already some spectators when you were zipping round? I mean,
there were.
We were people around?
Yeah, they had all the cameras rigged on the track, and they were doing the commentating. So it was an FIA event. So we had a very slim window of opportunity because it's FIA, lockdown. Strict 2 laps, and it was great. It was great to do that historic kind of street circuit anyway. With the yachts and the beautiful cliffs and the just general wealth everywhere.
It's just staggering level. It's just condensed wealth everywhere you look, isn't it? And I have been there once. It's extraordinary. So, I mean, because that was what was amusing was when I started recording the podcast last week, I was here on my own, and then I said, I can't say where Johnny is because it's all embargoed and everything. And then I saw your tweet come up, which was you videoing the kind of went, maybe it's not on embargo anymore. Okay, he's driving around in Aston Martin PD.
Well, yeah, I was one of only 3 or 4 of us allowed in it, and
right.
It was good, really. It was really good. You'll see a forthcoming episode where we have a detailed walk around it with the engineer and the hot laps, of course. And it is the swan song of that model of Aston Martin, but it's the beginning of the big Lagonda brand, which will be electric only. So it's and all made in England. Well, Wales actually, not England.
Yes,
I mustn't upset Welsh people.
No. So, but I mean, it is very because it's when people go, well, this new as we may discuss briefly, the Mercedes EQC, is a high-end, expensive vehicle. But then when it comes to the Aston Martin, it makes the Mercedes look like positively pedestrian because I mean they're making 150 of them,
155 of them, and they're £250,000 each. Yeah.
Sorry. But I thought they would be like 120,000 or something.
No, they're about 250,000 pounds. Yeah, I mean, but they're strictly. Let's get this straight. They're a very small audience car. It's strictly exclusive, limited run, which is attractive to a certain amount of people. I was at Monaco, which is the sort of perfect place for that car, really. Yeah. Because when you think about it, the congestion in a small place like that is ridiculous. Yeah. Everyone's trying to swan around and peacock more than the other. Whether you agree with that kind of lifestyle or not, it's what happens. It's what happens, and there are a number of people out there in the world that want the best of the best, and they collect vehicles, and they want the nice things in life. And the way I have sort of mentioned in the video is, although that Aston Martin is not a ground up EV, it's their swan song of that model. Yeah. There's no doubting what they've done is cool, and there's no doubting the fact that the people that they're aiming that at are largely what you'd call, I guess, conquest EV owners. In other words, they've never bought an EV before. Right. They've bought Astons before and other exotica. Yeah. And it's another gateway into the world of intriguing people into the world of EV. So I don't think the Teslarati are going to be particularly impressed with it. No. But maybe that's not who they're aiming it at. I'm sure it isn't. No, it isn't, is it really? No. But no, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I actually, basically whoever does one, whoever builds a pure EV, I don't care where it sits. I think we can agree that is at the upper end of the spectrum. But it's amazing that they've done it. I mean, and I'm assuming things like its road holding, its great capabilities are pretty impressive. Yeah, but it's a big car, and we were on a small circuit. That is a tight street circuit, so it's challenging. Yeah. But we were hustling around there. We were really driving, and it was great to see Darren, who that's the first time he'd driven that car in anger, and we only got told afterwards that we weren't running at full power. That he was hearing all the things that he wouldn't normally hear because there's no V12, and his eyes really lit up. He was like, "This future is a lot more exciting than I thought it would be." Yeah. That we could have fun, charismatic EV alongside some kind of piston or hybrid vehicles, and it was good because I knew that he wasn't giving me the corporate BS. I could see he was feeling it for himself and going, "Oh right,"
he was genuinely
and he was saying, the first thing he noticed was almost there's too much power because of the the torque hit.
Yeah.
Than what he's used to in a race car. So he was a bit taken aback by the smack of power.
Yeah.
And he had to kind of work out how to do it. And of course the regen braking, he started to enjoy the regen braking thing.
Right.
So yeah, it was good. It was a good event, and no, it's not going to sell to the masses because that's not what it's about.
No, absolutely not. No.
But then on the other hand, in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, I think we're going to be seeing 2 very affordable, very mass-produced EVs. We're going to be getting. I don't know if this is an exclusive or not. We're going to be getting a look round and a detailed poke at the Vauxhall e-Corsa.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Which is
doing that. And that isn't that's not going to be a one-off prototype. They're talking about that's going into production.
This is mass production. This is the brand new Corsa that Vauxhall is unveiling, and they're unveiling the BEV version at the same time as the diesel and the petrol, and it to all intents and purposes it looks the same. And what you have to bear in mind is the Corsa is consistently top 5 best-selling car in Great Britain. To the masses, to the car layman, this is a very attractive proposition. It's like you go into your Vauxhall dealer and you can have a petrol flavour, diesel flavour, or here's an electric one. It shares a lot of its underpinnings, I think, with the Peugeot E208.
Right.
But the E208 will be coming out first, and I think the E208 will be more expensive. So if you know the facts about the E208, assume that they will be very similar for the e-Corsa. So that's good news. And then just after Fully Charged Live, I will be seeing the all-new Zoe.
Yeah.
Renault Zoe.
Which is very exciting. That is a really...
Yeah. So
I was saying, I just think that is it is the one that when people who've not driven an electric car don't have one, but ask, which one would you say that I should get? I basically say Leaf or Zoe, just because they're like, there's loads of them. They're cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a proven we know recipe. What they're like. They're a real proven recipe. They're really good. I'm sure, there's always someone on Twitter that could say, well, I had a Zoe and it had this fault or something like that.
Hey,
they may not have.
It's funny you should say it, because when I was in Monaco, one of the other sort of journalists getting a ride in the car and doing the feature on the Aston was the YouTuber Shmee150.
Oh right,
who you've probably heard of.
Yes, I have.
And he's got like 8 million followers on subscribers and stuff. It's massive, mostly supercars. But anyway, he reminded me of the fact that I worked with him. I filmed with him on Fifth Gear back when he was like a child, in 2012.
Right.
When did the Zoe first come out?
Yeah, but it probably was because the Leaf was 2011. Yeah, it would have been 2012, around that time.
So my feature with him was driving him around central London, chasing down supercars to video and spot.
Right.
And we were doing it stealth spec in the Zoe, in what was the new Zoe at the time. And he reminded me of this, and it was thinking, crikey, that seems like eons ago.
Yeah. And how much it's developed then. Because that first Zoe that came out, I was always impressed with it just because it's such a simple car. It's so easy. You sit in it and you go, oh, that's the speedometer, that's the steering wheel, there's the pedal, boom, and you go.
It's true.
And it's like really, really very straightforward.
I like the styling of the Zoe.
Yeah, I do.
It's tasteful. It's tasteful and it's graceful and it's tasteful, and they both rhyme.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But it's great. So the new one, we don't know the details of it, but we know it goes further. That's the basic gist of it. It's got a bigger battery.
The gist of it is and I might get told off for saying this, but I've been told that the silhouette will be very similar, but everything else is different.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's actually a bit of a revamp.
Well, they won't tell me. I mean,
no.
I think whether or not the basic chassis is the same, it might be. But I should think the tech and definitely the frontal and rear styling will be different. And I guess the cabin. But it's exciting because that is, and I what I'd like to do is I welcome any questions from viewers / listeners of Fully Charged who are Zoe owners or even the Zoe Owners Club. If you have any questions about what you want to know about the new Zoe, please email us and I will collate said questions and take them with me.
Yes, because the one that I would want to know is CCS charging, because it always had 45 kilowatt AC, wasn't it? Whatever.
Yeah.
Which was fine when it came out. That was fine, and it's faster than Type 2. And it was I liked it because it was simple. There was one connector socket, and everything fitted in that one thing, a bit like a Tesla.
Yes,
but not quite so fast. And if they can, if they do, so that would be my thing. Is it got more than 50 kilowatt input, and does it have CCS? Which I think I've got a feeling it does.
Yeah,
anyway. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
They'd be foolish not to, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They really would.
But then, because the other ones, I just want to list them so we remember that not all vehicles that we talk about are between £60,000 and £250,000. But the other ones, obviously, the Honda, the VW. These are all basically 2020 is going to be the bumper year when these cars are actually in showrooms available to buy and lease and all that stuff. There's a lot of cheaper, more sensible, smaller hatchback.
Well, since the last podcast, the order books opened for the ID3, as it's known, and day before yesterday, the Honda E, which is now known as. I got an email saying you can now spec it and order it with a refundable deposit of 800 notes.
Wow!
So,
that's brilliant.
I'm not saying whether I have or whether I haven't.
No.
Put a reservation in for one, but my fingers were hovering on the trigger because it
looks such a great little
car. You
can
buy it in a very fetching yellow, and it does look good. It's called Charge Yellow, I think it's called.
Charge Yellow.
Yeah,
I can't.
It kind of suits that Japanesey style.
Yeah. Ooh. But at the other end of the spectrum, so the one I just driven is the Mercedes EQC, which in a little video I was going to put out on Twitter. Then I stopped this is when we were just when I got home, because I called it the ECQ.
Oh, the ECQ.
I was tired. Yeah. It was a very long day. I said, I've just been driving the Mercedes ECQ. It's the EQC. Oh God, it's so tragic.
Hey, it's not a very memorable name to be.
It's quite a difficult one to remember. I probably in the actual episode, I bet I do say it. One of the things that was difficult to. So I'm sitting in this. It is beautiful. They know how to make cars.
Yeah.
My sense of aesthetics are pretty limited, but I could appreciate. Oh my Lord, this is just beautifully done. Just when you sit in it, you can see everything you need to see. You don't have to kind of jiggle your head about a tiny bit to see behind the steering wheel. The thing that's very familiar with it is the gear shift and the wipers and all that. Because it's what Tesla use.
Yeah, of course.
I use that every day. It's exactly the same. Yeah,
Tesla use the column gear shift, don't they? Of course.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all identical. So I knew exactly what to do immediately. But and this is we're talking $60,000 plus this car. So there's that side of it. But it is really beautifully done. Its energy efficiency is what I just got me going, because I haven't driven the e-tron. I sat in it and I saw it with you, but you've driven it, and all the reports I'm reading are this thing just basically squirts electrons in every direction except to make it it really is a thirsty machine. And in a similar way, the I-Pace I would think is less so, but still has that tendency, as we discovered in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And the frustration with this is I didn't have long enough to really, really work out what it was doing.
Familiarise yourself,
But I'm guessing that it's 3.5 to 4 miles to the kilowatt hour, as opposed to 2.5 for the I-Pace and probably 2 for the. It's definitely, and it's a big car.
Oh, it's a big
finessed.
Car.
Yeah, that was the thing that knocked me out.
Well, that bodes really well. Merc are the oldest car company in the world.
Yeah,
and they can do cabins all right.
Yeah,
and although I, like I said before, although the exterior is a little conventional for me, I totally understand why them and Audi have gone for the SUV look that's familiar.
Yeah,
because let's face it, in this world where we're trying to make cars more efficient, it does really jar with me that we're actually making cars hevier, taller.
Yes, I know.
Worse at going around corners, and it's like, seriously?
Yeah. Is that the best you can do?
Yeah.
Because I've already seen some response, because I posted some pictures of it on Twitter today, that it's because I don't know my Mercedes marks well enough, but it's based on the GLC. Is that right? Is that what it's called? The
I think it is. I think it is.
GL.
It's either the GLC or the GLE. GLE being E-class size, GLC being C-class kind of chassis size.
Right.
But I won't deny it. Their rebranding of all the model names is effing confusing.
It's very confusing. Is. Yeah. But in fact, whatever it is, only 15% of this car is the same as whichever one it is, the GLC, I think, which I still think of as the Greater London Council, headed by Ken Livingstone. That's what I think of when I hear GLC.
I still think of GLC as the Goldie-looking chain.
The Welsh chains.
Yeah, I love the Welsh tracksuiters, the taff rappers. See, it's funny, isn't it? GLC it is.
Yeah, but so they really have. I mean, it isn't the same, because some people have commented, "Oh, it's just a rebadge something with the batteries in it." It really isn't. I mean, that would be an unfair thing to say. One of the things they've really done well and they actually talked about this when we first saw it, was that a lot of other electric vehicles, even high-end electric vehicle manufacturers, will allow the electric motor sound. Will almost encourage that, so you can hear it. So they have removed it in the EQC. You can't hear. I tried absolutely flooring it, and it's an impressive mover on a little bit of freeway, and you couldn't really hear. You hear road sound, you hear noise.
Yeah, tyre on tarmac.
But you're not hearing the motors, because even in a Tesla, any Teslas, you'll hear. You'll hear a bit of motors in the Model 3 I drove recently. You could definitely hear it. That in the I-Pace, you can hear it. All those ones. This one, they've really gone bananas over sound insulating the motors. So and when you're cruising, say you're cruising at like 60, 70k, 80k on the motorway.
Yeah,
it's the quietest electric car I've ever been in. It's super, super smooth and quiet. The suspension is phenomenal.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad about that.
Really impressed with that.
When I went in on the pre-production car for that Fully Charged episode,
right,
I did say to the guy, I can hear a little bit of motor noise, when I was describing it to the camera, and he looked at me and he said, "That will go," as if to say, it's like wow. it was noise is his nemesis, and I think he had exactly the same thought as me. It's like, I want an electric car because I want it to be completely silent and seamless and serene. If I want to put music on or a podcast, I will choose that.
Yeah.
But I've chosen a car that is silenced, and I want that. I want to be cosseted in this sort of library quiet cabin.
Yeah, yeah.
Personally, that's just...
one of the things that also worked really well, which wasn't to our advantage while we were filming, was the voice recognition. So if you say, "Hey Mercedes, where's the nearest charger?" It's unbelievable. It just goes, here it is, and this is the route.
Really?
It's 14 kilometres. Oh, it did it so fast. And it was a woman's voice. And she said, "I'll find that for you." Ding! And it appears on your sat-nav. There's the nearest charger. It's over there.
Gosh.
Down that corner, around that. It's in a car park. Oh, my Lord. But then you're doing... But we couldn't work out how to turn her off in the time we had. So I'm in a Mercedes, talking about Mercedes... and when Mercedes was founded and how long it's been, this long tradition of building cars, every time I use the M word, she'd go, "How can I help you?" By the end of, and I'd forget, and I go, "Okay, I'm just going to say the M word. This is the M word, and it's the M word."
Is that what you said? The M word.
And then I go, brilliant. And of course, as we all know, Mercedes have been going, "Hello, how can I?" "Oh no, I've done it again." So you want to be able to turn that off, but that stuff, in my experience of doing, "Hey Siri, can you tell me what the weather's like?" or something, I can't do it. I'm maybe an age thing, but I can't be bothered. I don't want to talk to a computer like it's someone.
I'm with you. I
did work really well.
Oh, that is good to know. So it's going to have a bit of Alexa syndrome. Sorry if I've said that out loud.
Oh God, yeah.
If you're listening in your kitchen or
loads of things. Yes, please order another 5,000 toilet rolls.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was. The other thing was, which I think I do mention, but I was intrigued by that, and that is when you're driving at 25, 30 in a city, it's four-wheel drives, two motors. It's only using the front lower powered motor.
Oh, okay.
So in those circumstances, you're a two-wheel or front-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
And the rear motor is the real powerful one. So you're getting, that's where they've got this energy efficiency thing. They've really gone for that, and it's kind of subtle, sort of hidden. You don't know. So if you're just driving gently, you accelerate gently. you move off very smoothly. You're not hearing anything, and that's just that front motor uses less power. Therefore, you get greater range. If you floor it, both engines really kick in, and it's
that's
really
throttle position and wheel speed. That it's That, I'm looking forward to that. That sounds really good because maybe it is a lot more than meets the eye with that car, and that's the thing. Don't discount it because it looks conventional.
Yes, and I quite like the matte. I drove on with a matte sort of sheen grey finish.
Oh, satin.
I quite like
it. Sort of satin gunmetal kind of.
Yeah. Yes, but then I saw a great tweet. Yuck, the colour. It's a no buy from me.
Well, of course. I mean, no other colours were possibly available, so that's it.
There was blue and red and green. Yeah, but that was the one. Anyway, there we go. It's all deep joy. And now a short message from our sponsors, Oscar and Hamish.
Robert, do you have junk in your frunk?
I beg your pardon, sir?
Your frunk, the space at the front of your Tesla where the engine normally is in a conventional piston car.
Oh, yeah. Now, well, my frunk is wonderfully tidy as I now have a lovely set of tailored luggage designed and handmade in England by Oscar and Hamish. They make fitted luggage for your Tesla Model S, X and Model 3.
Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yes, I think it's very, very important that you asked. And Fully Charged podcast listeners can get a full 10% discount at oscarandhamish.com, all one word, oscarandhamish.com, with the unique code Fully Charged. No one's going to guess that. At the checkout. So Oscar and Hamish are inspired by heroes, made by legends, and born to be driven. Ooh.
That sounds like they were describing me.
Yeah, it was you.
They were inspired by heroes, made by legends. I'd class my parents as legends.
Yeah.
And born to be driven. I don't know if I'm born to be driven. Should we talk about trucks?
Because I'm quite intrigued by this Swedish truck because I can't quite believe this is going to be allowed on the road, but it's a driverless truck on public roads in Sweden.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So this has just happened during the week, hasn't it?
Yeah. This is from Reuters, so it's very, very
correct.
Reliable piece of news. Driverless truck began freight deliveries on public roads in Sweden on Wednesday. It's extraordinary. So it's an electric truck, big. It's not a little van; it's a big truck.
Right. Developed by Einride and logistics customer DB Schenker.
So it is Volvo. So it's Volvo. So did we actually it is Volvo then underneath it, or Volvo built it? I'm assuming.
Is it? I can't. Yeah. It's okay. So.
Oh no, former Volvo. Sorry, I just saw Volvo. So it's a company that sprung out of Volvo.
It's a Swedish startup, called Einride. And the company's been in talks with major suppliers to help scale production and deliver orders. So it did its first order and its first drive on a public road.
Right.
He's a former executive who was interviewed by Reuters.
Yeah.
Since we're a software and operational first company, a partnership with a manufacturing company is something we see as a core moving forward. We hope to seal a deal by next year. It looks great.
It does.
It looks weird because I suppose without a cab that needs a bloke or a woman in it,
you don't need a cab. Yeah,
you don't need a cab. So it's just all.
It's just freight.
It's just all freight space. Yeah, it's maximising freight space.
But I think the thing is because I was at what's that called? Something rules where you have a meeting and no one speaks about it outside the room.
Embargo?
No, it's not embargo. It's like Charterhouse, but it isn't. Someone will remember what it is.
Freemasons.
Freemasons. That was it. I wondered why I had to wear the one white glove with a sock pulled up. I couldn't work out what it was. No, it's somebody house. It's an old English expression of where military chaps got together, and it's called Charterhouse rules. Anyway, I went to this dinner thing. It was really lovely. I can't talk about it.
Do Americans call that keeping it on the down low?
I think it's on the down low, so I won't mention any of the people there. There were some influential people there, but very specifically, a lot of the talk was about the introduction of fully autonomous ride-sharing vehicles for passengers in cities. And what became pretty apparent was it's going to happen in some cities. Singapore, maybe a Chinese city, possibly I don't think Los Angeles. It's there are some cities that. It's the street. When you've got a city on a grid with straight roads and junctions, it's going to be much sooner in those cities. But what was really apparent was, and there was a lot of discussion about the social impact, the fact that there is nearly something like 100 million people in the world earn their living as a driver, and what happens to them. It's quite a big change. But what was clearly was much sooner going to happen was delivery trucks, without drivers.
But also, like you say, this is most of this is lower mileage. Last mile, as they call it.
Last mile, and also the repeating routes. So you do the same route every day. You're delivering half a ton of carrots to Waitrose outside Basingstoke. Where else are you going? No, we just go to Waitrose. That's it. So it goes there and it comes back.
Exactly.
Whereas cars go all over the place. So, and I think that was true because I've always been slightly sceptical about the complexities and the cost of running, the energy cost of running a fully autonomous car. They use a lot of electricity, a lot more than just someone driving it. There is some side issues that I don't think have been dealt with yet. But this is definitely intriguing.
So I was just reading. So Einride's investors include ex-Daimler Asia Trucks head Mark I'll say this wrong. Listosela is also courting investors for an ongoing fundraising. The company's first sizable one, it's previously raised $10 million. Auto alliances are on the rise to share the cost of electric and autonomous technology, which we know, like Ford vowing to invest $500 million in Rivian.
Yeah.
To possibly, I guess, their fully electric F-150 will be on a Rivian platform.
Yeah.
And maybe more. And then the Einride's T-Pod is 26 tons when full, doesn't have a driver cabin, which estimates reducing road freight operating costs by around 60% versus a diesel truck with a driver.
I mean, that is, if you're a big logistics company, you see that and you go, we can save 60%.
Yeah.
Drivers, do you want to just come in? We just want to chat. Go home. I mean, it's pretty devastating because, to put this in perspective, it is on public roads, but it's on public roads in an industrial area. And a warehouse terminal, so it's not. They are public roads, but it's not just driving along a city street yet.
Yeah,
but clearly, it's not going to take that long.
Well,
for that to do it.
I came back from a fully charged shoot yesterday in Paris, being driven in a fully autonomous Zoe. And then we looked at a fully autonomous bus, which obviously follows a completely set route.
Yeah.
And then admittedly it's not autonomous, but seen at the tech show in Paris, this Renault, it's called what's it called? It's another Easy Flex. I think it's the Easy Flex. The little postman Pat van that's being trialled by La Poste, which is France's postal service.
Yeah.
And it's a funky little thing. And although that is still manned, the packaging, the amount of storage space it has for its wheelbase and its dimensions is brilliant. So on the smaller end, on the last mile end, you're people like Group Renault are really going for.
They're all
working with people in autonomy and also putting together more and more solutions for electric vans, which they've already got to market, haven't they? The what is it? The Traffic, is it the Traffic or the which are the two electric vans? I've just totally forgotten as I started to say it. What an absolute idiot.
I know, but let's just leave it that Renault are doing electric vans.
They already sell two types of electric vans, and they're going to be selling more. And the one that I saw was really good. And this Einride dudes, they've already got orders from Lidl. A Swedish delivery company called Svenska, which I'm sure you've seen the containers and with Svenska written on them.
Svenska,
and 5 Fortune 500 retail companies underpinning their ambition to have 200 vehicles in operation by the end of 2020.
Right,
that's soon.
No, that's good. I mean, I think that'll happen. I think we'll see fully autonomous buses and trucks years before we see fully autonomous cars. I just think it's so complicated.
I'm with you. And lower speed urban stuff is what it was born for, really.
Yeah. And also just purely from an energy efficiency point of view, even if that was actually diesel powered, it would use less diesel than with someone driving it, because it's going to drive at absolute maximum efficiency.
Of course, it'll drive in a robotic fashion. Yeah.
It won't get bored.
It won't get bored. No, it won't be texting while it's driving or anything like that.
All those things. Yeah.
There'll
be. I mean, just the absolute sort of lack of trucker jokes. Well, that will be a generational shift.
I don't know what you're talking about with trucker cliches. I'm not even going to go there.
Let's not go there.
No, we don't need to go there. We don't need to go there. But yeah, there's 5G shizzle going on with this thing. Level 4 autonomy.
Yeah. So level 4 autonomy. I'm intrigued by that, because level 5 autonomy is totally 100% autonomous. Can drive anywhere in the world.
That's right.
Could drive across the Sahara Desert when there isn't a road. It's that sort of level.
Level 5 is the highest category, isn't it?
Yeah.
Level 5.
And level 4 can go in lots of places, but not everywhere. So it couldn't go down a rough country track. Wouldn't know where it was, but
it says it's the second highest category, level 4, and it uses a NVIDIA Drive platform to process visual data in real time. An operator sitting miles away can supervise and control up to 10 vehicles at once.
That'd be fun. I want to see a 12-year-old with a Game Boy. Not Game Boy. That dates me. One of those things where you use your thumbs on the widdly bits that stick up the widdly mushroom things. A joystick.
What's my son
PlayStation.
got? Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch.
What
are you doing, son? I'm just driving 10 vehicles, Dad, through Sweden. Oh, blimey.
Exactly, swerving elk and lakes. Yeah.
They could do it. I wouldn't be able to drive 10 feet, but you don't know a 12-year-old could do it. The one last story I wanted to cover, just because I like big batteries, and I cannot lie. It's just that I'd heard so much stuff about the Tesla lithium-ion battery installation at the Hornsdale wind farm in Australia, South Australia. Has made this amazing impact on their grid. It's just made of win, as they say.
Did you just say success. Made of win?
Made of win.
Oh, that's awful. What an awful...
That's an awful corporate startup term from about 2006.
That's really made me frown, that has. I'm disappointed in the those sorts of buzzwords. You mustn't do that without warning me first.
We are made of win. Anyway, but this is a battery in Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi, obviously, we've been there a couple of times. It is not a poor country, and there's many issues one could have with the politics and the social structures of Abu Dhabi. But one of the things they're doing amazingly well with is renewables, is desalinating water on a massive scale, because they haven't got any water. It rains there once every 3 years, and now they've got one of the world's largest solar farms. So they've now got the world's biggest battery. So the one in Hornsdale is, I think, 40 megawatt hours.
Okay.
And this is 108 megawatt hours.
My goodness.
Which is... no, it's not.
It's 108 megawatts, 648 megawatt hours.
Sorry, it's 648 megawatt hours.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, I got that wrong. I love it when I exaggerate the wrong way.
Yeah, and it's sodium sulfur.
Yeah, so it's different battery chemistry altogether. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's five times the size of the one in South Australia. Gosh. So it's big. It is enormous. So they are basically storing just huge amounts of electricity they're getting in the day from all their solar.
From desert sun.
It's quite sunny. Yeah. And it's 10 different batteries, but they're all linked together into one virtual massive battery plant. So, and this is literally day one of this technology. I mean, this is going to be rolled out so fast. I say faster than electric cars, faster than autonomous cars. We're going to see colossal scale batteries that will make installing renewables. It just transforms the whole picture of how you use renewables. Because that argument about, sun going down or not windy,
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not going to go away, that argument, but it's just going to diminish in its importance. Once you run a city at night from solar power that was generated in
and
the
harnessed,
day, you're going...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just reading this Abu Dhabi news piece. Have you seen the quote from Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi?
I've heard of him. Yeah, he does good quotes. What did he say? About the last barrel of oil.
Yeah. In 50 years, when we might have the last barrel of oil, I can tell you we will celebrate that moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like Norway, who are very oil rich, it's great that they actually don't really use much of their own produce. They just export it.
Yeah.
And then on their own doorstep, they're trying to make it as clean and efficient and renewable as possible. And if the UAE follows in that footstep, I think that's great, because what it's basically saying is we make the stuff, but we don't necessarily rely on it anymore.
Yes. And I mean, the two people I've spoken to in the last, I suppose, 8 years, both of them one in Dubai, one in Abu Dhabi, who were Abu Dhabi and Dubai nationals, was have you looked at a map of this country? And I go, well, yeah, I know where it is. And they go, have you seen how high we are above the sea? And I go, well, I don't know, how high are you? It's like a foot. They are really, really at a low-lying desert plain on the coast. Sea level rise of 10 centimetres could absolutely screw
what you're saying is you think they're doing all this investment because otherwise their land will disappear. I know they've reclaimed land, haven't they? So
yeah, they have. I mean, they're very aware. They're aware in a very kind of gritty way of the realities of climate change, because when their temperatures in the summer reach 52, 53 degrees, and you go, well, it's only going to go up 1 degree. That's when the roads melt, and it's just, that is,
and you just can't go out.
Very hot. You can't go out.
Well, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So that they're feeling firsthand the serious changes going on with the
granular reality of it.
So they will react quicker because they don't want to perpetuate it.
I think so, and it's economics as well, because they'll work out that it's they've already worked that out. Is it cheaper for us to burn oil in it? Because all their electricity was generated from oil generators,
right.
Oil-fired generators.
Yeah.
And they worked out that they could sell that for much more, make more money, and use solar instead. And it's saving them. It's billions of dollars a year. It's saving them in using their own oil, because obviously their own oil is virtually free, or it's so cheap it's uncountable. But solar is still cheaper, even in Abu Dhabi.
Well, and like you say, the spare land that they've got to make solar farms is there.
Yeah, they're not covering vital agricultural land. They're covering a few desert snails. I don't even know. Those desert snails.
I would not want to be a desert snail, Robert. You imagine you're screwed from the word go.
You are, really, aren't you? Yeah. You wake up and you think, I'm going to go and see Auntie Vera. You get 2 feet out the door and you're covered in sand grains.
You're covered in sand. There's no dew left. It's all gone.
Yeah.
The sun starts beating down. I mean, what are you going to do?
Cracks your shell. You've really finished.
You've got to carry a leaf with you as a parasol wherever you go.
They're very rare. If you find a desert snail, you've done well. They're very rare.
I'd want a dewy parasol from the word go.
Yeah.
A really dewy parasol. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Anyway, but that is those. I mean, this is we could go on for hours, but
couldn't we?
We nearly have already.
We did.
So let's try.
There's a pattern forming with our podcast, isn't there?
But I'm not. I don't want to go on too much about Fully Charged Live, because it's just boring and annoying. Because we're going to do some other announcements. But all I want to say is it is going to be brilliant. All the people what's frustrating is we can't quite announce everything that's going on there yet, because it's still all being arranged. As we speak, there's an office full of people on the phone trying to work out who's doing.
Well, you told me some stuff about potential vehicles visiting that were very special that I can't tell you about.
Very special. There's going to be some very special vehicles. There's one specific. I think we can talk about that. The MG. Whatever the MG is, the little SUV that MG are doing.
The MG ZS?
MG ZS is going to be on display there. No one has seen. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it at a car show? I haven't seen one at all.
Oh, okay. No, I have seen a picture. I've never seen it
right.
in reality.
No, I've seen a picture. Yeah, No, so that will be on display at Fully Charged Live. It's not a drive. It's not in the test drives, but the test drives are going to be amazing. There's a large array of the very best and finest of the world's electric vehicles are available for test drives. Many of them, and you can't, if you're not a Patreon supporter. Not that I want to put any pressure on you. You can't pre-book it. But the thing is, all I'm getting now is messages from Patreon supporters going, "When can we book it?" I think it's sort of next week. That's still being arranged.
Well, the bottom line is, the show's coming up very soon. You can tell them the date, Robert. I'll let you do that.
It's the 7th, 8th and 9th of June at Silverstone Racing Circuit in the United Kingdom.
And we're both going to be there amongst many other people. And judging from the reaction from last year's show, which was the first time that Fully Charged Live existed, there's a huge amount of positivity. And
it is. It was very positive.
And this year it's going to be bigger, and there's going to be more of a variety of stuff. And if you're in the market for an EV or some renewables for your household, or you already own the above and you're looking to move it on a bit, or you just want to go there and walk around and smile, and I don't know, get a selfie with Robert. Because Robert will be wearing a... What are you wearing? You're going to wear... What do you say you're going to wear?
wear a knee-length frock and a flowery hat.
You're going to wear a Queen-style outfit. When I say Queen, I don't mean Freddie Mercury. I mean the Queen.
Her Majesty.
Yeah, Her Majesty.
I'm dressing up as
yes.
Well, because Johnny and I are going to do some hopefully... These are another thing we can't even talk about, but there's some very exciting unveiling. So we're going to do an unveiling ceremony. I don't think I'm going to be wearing a
Do you love an unveil? Well, are we going to...
I love doing an unveil.
Because it's indoor, I don't know if we're going to smash a bottle of Carver over anything.
Oh, I don't know. We might have to... Well, I don't know. It's very dangerous. There'll be children there with broken glass everywhere.
Well, quite. It would look like a scene from Faraday Past's most recent bust-up, which... Again, we can't really talk about because
the cost of those that travel lodge repairs that had to be done.
We're talking about travel lodge. It was a gypsy caravan. It was one of those shepherd's huts that you drag out into a field and then leave it there. It's one of them.
I want Faraday Past to come. I wish they hadn't split up again just before. We had them booked. They were very keen to come, but they all fell out.
Yeah, I mean, apparently can't wait.
Yes, one of them was leaving the caravan in disgust, and he slammed the door, but he caught his his 3 foot long grey, very thin ponytail in the door, and he thought that was a violent assault from one of the other members, so he just let rip. That was terrible. No, I mean, it's all that there were tabard. There were bits of tabard all over the field.
There were a couple of quite valuable tapestries destroyed in that most recent fight, where one of them was hanging in the said shepherd's caravan. I think it might have got singed and slashed.
I love the idea of an unruly group of 67-year-old musicians that still wear tights on stage. It's just too good to be true.
Totally.
But anyway, we hope we see you at Fully Charged Live. But and that what we're doing, I think, is exciting, which is we're releasing all the talks as podcasts afterwards, because we do have amazing people coming. That list is phenomenal. Who's appearing there and who's on discussion panels and all that stuff. Yeah. So they'll all be on the podcast afterwards if you can't make it, which we fully understand. And I don't know what else there is. That's about it, really. There's a lot more. There's some really good episodes. There's the next episode that's coming out live, Johnny, is us in the refuse collection vehicle, the RCV. Oh, it's great. I've just watched it today. It's really good. That's the next step that's coming up.
That was a fun afternoon.
A hydrogen dustbin lorry, and also me with Newt Cargo. So Newt Cargo are a company that do deliveries in central London, and they only use electric vehicles. They only ever have. But they started out, it's so cool, they started out in like the super crude ones about 10 years ago. And one of them, they did deliveries, and they were running a successful business in an electric delivery truckette. So pedal. You had to kind of pedal it a bit, and it was really crude, and it had a 10-mile range.
Oh my!
Well, and they used it. That's all it needed. They were carrying a load of veg to a market stall somewhere, and they used that. It was 8 miles, round trip. So they had enough to do it. No, and now they've got 70 vans, so they're delivering all over London for big companies and small people and everything.
Well, their determination and innovation, it deserves applause, surely.
No, really good. Yeah, really good explanation of how you charge 70 vehicles at one location, which is what they do every night. They have to do that all the time.
Of course.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, some good stuff. So there's some excellent episodes coming your way, including the Aston Martin. What we want to do is we want to make sure we cover cars for the people. So we've covered £60,000 Mercedes and a £250,000 Aston Martin.
Yeah, please, no more trolling about that.
Yeah, we do cover a lot of very wide range of vehicles and bicycles.
We try and cover everything.
Yeah.
Like you say, we've got a hydrogen dustbin lorry and Aston Martin and a Mercedes, but we're doing. I've just done a Renault. We've got Vauxhall Corse. We've got the whole breadth.
And I've just been riding
BEVs.
I've just been riding a Go Cycle electric bike. Absolutely brilliant. And their latest folding version, fantastic. Anyway, that's all. We've done very close to an hour.
Yeah, if you have been.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
My gosh, we didn't fluff that up. What's going on? That's people call that evolution.
They do.
This podcast comes to you from the spare room in my house that is so untidy it's ridiculous, and I'm not wearing as many clothes as I should.